Notion has recently released a few new features. In this video, we are looking at how you can build an OKR system that is objectives and key results in Notion. And along the way, I will showcase some new features that have been implemented into this template. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I first released the OKRs template for Notion around 2 years or 2.5 years ago. And since then, Notion has evolved a lot. And so I've made updates. And in this video, we are looking at those updates to OKRs, as well as the structure of the template and how it has evolved over time. The first thing to know about OKRs is how we could structure it. And this is based on John Doerr's presentation that is linked at the top of the template that you can find also in the description of the video. And the first thing that we can notice here in terms of Notion features is that it is now possible to have callout blocks without icons. So to create a callout block, I can type /callout. And when I do that, I now can remove the icon, which effectively creates a border around the content without having to have that icon that was previously instead always there. In addition, I can also change the color. That is already a feature that existed before. For example, I can make it default, and I can make the first block any type of block. So if I type / and for example, I select heading 2, now the first block of the callout is heading 2. And this was not possible until 1.5 weeks ago or so. And in addition, when I add a heading inside a callout, that will be detected on the table of content, whether it be the native one on the right hand side on any Notion page that is right here, or if it is the table of content block that I can use on the page that is /TOC table of contents. And that was not the case before. So this has been a bit disruptive in terms of the designs of pages that had heading blocks inside of callouts, because the table of contents currently can't be changed in Notion. It is predefined and you can't change what's included and what's not included in it. Now, when it comes to the structure of OKRs, some fundamental elements of an OKR system, that is objectives and key results, are objectives. These are composed of multiple key results that are tangible and quantifiable over time. So objectives are longer term, they span across multiple quarters maybe, whereas key results have a specific due date. They are shorter term, they contribute to achieving the objective over time, and they have a clear quantifiable metric hit. And key results are assigned to specific owners. So these are team members responsible for carrying over the key result and meeting it or achieving it over time. Now, objectives and key results can span across one or multiple quarters, and that's what this quarters database is for in this system. You can associate objectives to quarters so that you can know exactly the time frame that an objective spans. And finally, objectives can be organized into areas. Areas are departments of a company. If you use this with your team, areas are the areas of your business. If you use it personally, areas might be the areas of your life. That could be work-related areas and personal domains that you want to develop within your life. So you can see how these databases relate together and how they are needed. At least these are the foundational databases needed in a scalable and well-structured system, at least in my understanding. If you have a different understanding or things that you think should be included in here to make this system more solid, let me know in the comments or reach out to me via the form in the description. In addition, there are also personal dashboards. Now, let's look at the databases and then let's look at the dashboard. So if you look at objectives, objectives are what to accomplish. And you can see here there are different views. And if I go to table, I can also see one recently introduced feature in Notion is the ability to add descriptions to properties. So for example, when I hover over date range, I can see there is this info icon, and that means there is a description on this property. When I hover over it, I can read date range, the start and end date for the objective. And this can be very helpful to build in documentation into your system so that users that are not aware of the process of achieving or building your system can actually just hover over a property name and understand what that is about. I find this very useful, especially when you build something for someone else, whether it be templates or whether it be a system for a team to collaborate together in Notion. Using tooltips is incredibly helpful to provide people with instructions or guidance on how to use the system. So you can see within each objective, I can also see a timeline where I can step back and look at the quarter, I can look at the year here, navigate to today right here. And if I open an objective, I can then see all the properties, that is the area or areas that it relates to. So this is a relational database, as you can see from here, that relates to the areas database. All the quarters that it spans across, it could be one or multiple ones here. This is from the quarters database that I introduced before. And there is a date range, and that's a manual date range. If you want to specify within those quarters what exactly the start date and the end date of the objective, that's where you can do that, so that you can quickly visualize all the objectives on a timeline view and be more specific in terms of timeframes associated with each objective. And there can be a description, a status, a type, committed, aspirational, and learning, the total grade, total key results, and the progress. This is based on how to calculate progress on objectives based on the OKRs framework by John Doerr. And the way to do that is by scoring key results and then aggregating those scores at the objective level to see how many key results were met over the total key results for that objective. So that's how things are calculated in here using some roll-ups, a formula for progress as well. And an additional feature that Notion released recently is the ability to comment on property values, at least most of them. For example, you can't comment on roll-up properties, as you can see here, but you can comment on almost any property type. When you hover over the value of that property, you can leave a comment in there. And this is helpful to then have discussions about values of a database page. When I scroll down on the objective page, I can see here a templatized page where there is why this objective. There is a callout again with some text that I can add to add context for the team and anyone involved in the objective. When do we consider this objective completed? So what's the definition of done of the objective? And that is quite relevant because oftentimes objectives are rather vision-oriented and blurry. And if we do not properly provide a definition of done, what it feels like when it's done, what are the facts that will make us believe that this objective is achieved, then there isn't a clear direction that everyone is aligned on. So this can be very helpful, although seemingly painful at the beginning because you need to think through it. And because each objective has key results, you can then see down below all the related key results for that objective. And here are the names, the type of the key result. And when you hover over it, you can see a definition of the key result type from John Doerr. And this is also a relatively new feature that shipped together with property descriptions, and that is select value descriptions. So when you have a select or multi-select option, you can always add a description in there. And these key results are coming from the key results table. So you can see here when you open key results, this is the aggregated view of all the key results. So it's a centralized database. And as part of a larger system, if you also do project management in Notion, for example, key results can be linked to tasks then or to projects that are more on daily operation side of things to move the key results and the objectives forward. So the whole system is aligned from the visionary objectives all the way to the daily action items that people need to do to eventually reach that objective. So here you can see the key results. As per usual, you can filter by the properties in this database, for example, by responsible person, by type, etc. You can open each key result page to see more details inside of it. And you can see in this case, key results are linked to tasks. So you can also apply the template here. And this will show me all the related tasks for that key result. This is part of the Great CEO template. That's why there are the tasks relation as well. And if I look at the quarter level, I can then open a quarter. For example, let's say Q3 2024, that is the current quarter. And I can apply the template here. And this will show all the related objectives in a board as well as a table format. So you can always get that context in different ways, either at the centralized level on the databases or at a specific level inside quarters, inside key results, inside the objective page, as well as inside areas. So for example, if I click on organization, that's an area, and let's apply the template here. And you will see in here, I will see all the objectives, the key results, and wiki that is part of the Great CEO template as well. So all of this is powered by the relation properties in Notion. That is properties that allow us to relate databases together. For example, here I'm in the areas database and there is an objectives relation property. The way to add a relation property to a Notion database is by adding a property, then selecting relation, and then selecting the target database that you want to relate. And once that's done, that's what it looks like. You have the relation, the related database. You can set in it if you want only one page related or if there is no limit to it. And then you can make it two-way relation if you toggle this on. Otherwise, it will be a one-way relation, which means the respective property will not show up in the target database displayed here. Now, let's look at the final component of the system, that is the dashboard. And dashboards have become a bit more powerful and a proper term to define Notion pages recently with the advent of charts, native ways to visualize data from Notion databases. And here we can see on the OKRs dashboard that there are a few charts that get data from the objectives, from the key results as well. So at a glance, I can see the current objectives by area. So for each area, how many objectives are there? I can also see the active key results by owner. For each team member, how many key results are there that are not complete yet? And I can see the objectives by status right here, with each status representing a percentage of the donut chart. To create charts in Notion, you can create an empty block and then type chart directly, or if you are on a database view, for example here, you can click on the plus icon and then select chart. And this will then prompt you to set up the chart. I've made an entire video regarding Notion charts. So if you want to learn more about that, you can find it linked here above in the video. And this dashboard is a bit actionable and a bit of an overview of the key components of the system so that you can see them all in one page without having to navigate through different databases. So you can see all the areas and I can quickly access each area. Right here with the model, I can see the current objectives. I can quickly add a new objective via this button like that. I'm going to delete it from now. I can also view all objectives and this will open the objectives database and I can then see all the active key results. And as per usual, I can filter by person. I can also see a table by objective that groups all the key results by their related objective like that. And that concludes the updated overview of managing OKRs in Notion and how some new features can be implemented into this kind of system. You can find all the relevant links in the description of the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below or by contacting me directly via the form in the description of the video. For now, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.